What's up guys, it's DarkArmedDuelist and today doing a Master Duel Horus Diabellstar deck profile. So I'm really excited to do this one for you guys because this deck is actually suggested to me by one of my patrons, Meli. And this deck is an extremely powerful deck to play to summon out all the different Horus monsters and go in for game, while also being able to use that Diabellstar cards to back them up. So without further ado, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell there so you can become part of the notification squad, and definitely check out the Patreon down in the description below for all those awesome rewards. Like getting your name in the description of every single video, getting assigned cards in the mail, and even getting to request a deck profile every single month to your Patreon. And definitely give Meli some love down in the comments down below for suggesting such an awesome deck. So without further ado, let's get straight on into this. So first off, we're playing 3 copies of Imseti. Imseti is definitely a 3-of in the build because this card helps out so much in the deck, and all of your different Horus monsters share a common effect. And if you control King Sarcophagus, you can special summon this card from your graveyard to your side of the field, which is a great effect to instantly bring them back to your side of the field. This card also has a really cool ability that you can send 2 cards from your hand to the graveyard, including this card, to add a King Sarcophagus from your deck to your hand, then draw a card, which is an amazing ability. Instantly get us to King Sarcophagus so we can start going in for our plays. We then play a single copy of Happy. Happy is really good to be able to summon in this deck as well because this card is just really amazing and such a powerful Horus card to be able to bring out to our side of the field. We then play a single copy of Blessing of Horus. This card is amazing because it comes out absolutely massive because it gains 1200 attack points for each Horus monster that you control, making this card absolutely massive. When you get all 4 different Horus monsters out on your side of the field, this card goes to 4,800, helping you go in for game. We then play a single copy of Protection of Horus. This card is just a really good one-of to be able to play all the different names in the deck, to have 4 different level 8 monsters to summon back to your side of the field, so you can go in for rank 8 plays or just swing in for game. We then play a single copy of Horus, the Black Flame Deity. This card is so cool to be able to play in the deck. You only need it as a one-of, but this card is actually unique from the rest of the Horus monsters because this card has the ability, if you control a Horus monster and King Sarcophagus, you can reveal this card in your hand, send a card from your hand or field to the graveyard to send a card on the field to the grave, non-targeting, which is a really cool effect just to spot remove cards off the field. And if a face-up Horus monsters that you control accept a copy of this card, or a face-up King Sarcophagus you control leaves the field by an opponent's card effect, except during the damage step, you can actually special summon this card from your hand. Then you can send all other monsters on the field to the graveyard, just basically board wiping the field, which is absolutely amazing. We then play 3 copies of Diabellstar, the Black Witch. Diabellstar is definitely a 3-of in this build, and it's so easy to summon out to your side of the field because you can special summon this card from your hand by sending one other card from your hand or field to the graveyard, which is an amazing effect just to instantly get this card out. This card also has a really cool effect that if this card is normally special summoned, you can actually set a simple spell or trap directly from your deck to your side of the field, and during your opponent's turn, if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can actually send 1 card from your hand or field to the graveyard, and if you do, special summon this card, which is a great effect just to bring back this 2,500 attack point boss monster. We then play 3 copies of Volcanic Shell. Volcanic Shell is great as our level 1 fire monster in this particular deck to be able to basically pay cost, because this card refreshes your hand because it has the ability to, can once per turn, pay 500 life points to add another copy of this card from your deck to your hand, which is a great effect to be able to add another copy of Volcanic Shell from your deck to your hand so you can send it to the graveyard for King Sarcophagus, get an additional Horus name in the graveyard, or to be able to send to the graveyard off your copy of Diabellstar, which is great. Plus you can summon it off your copy of Original Sinful Spools, getting you an additional material onto your side of the field, making this card a definite 3-of in the deck and a really powerful option. We then play 3 copies of Planet Pathfinder. Planet Pathfinder is really cool to be able to play in the deck, to be able to search out the Horus field spell. Since this deck really doesn't have a normal summon, this card is a great normal summon to just summon this card out to your side of the field, tribute it, and then add your field spell from your deck to your hand, which is Walls of the Imperial Tomb. We then play 3 copies of Majesty's Fiend. Majesty's Fiend is so powerful in this deck and such a cool card to be able to summon out to your side of the field. So it has the ability, it cannot be special summoned, but neither player can activate monster effects, which is so amazing about this card, just to be able to tribute summon this card out to your side of the field, which is so easy to get a monster out on the field with the Horus monsters, fill the field up with Horus monsters, tribute one of them to summon this card, and basically have a skill drain for everywhere, which is absolutely broken. This card is really good to be able to summon out to your side of the field. It does come out with 2,400 attack points, but it's so broken because once you summon this card out to your side of the field, if your opponent doesn't have it out, you're probably just instantly winning the game. We then play a single copy of Karakuri. Karakuri is searchable in the deck, which is why I play this card as a 1-of, because it's a level 1 fire monster and just a really good hand trap overall in this deck. We then play 3 copies of Ash Blossom. Ash Blossom is really good at basically just stopping the opponent from touching the deck. We then play 3 copies of Maxi. Since it is a Master Duel deck profile, you guys know we got to play 3 copies of Maxi. Maxi is just really strong overall to basically just drop this card against the opponent and draw a card every time they special summon, which is absolutely amazing. We then play 2 copies of Psyframe Gear Gamma. Gamma is just really good to be able to make in this deck because it's very good to be able to counter your opponent's hand traps like Ash Blossom and Maxi, because with cards like your Imseti, you're not going to control the monster on your side of the field, and Planet Pathfinder tributes itself for cost, so you're basically just going to have no monster on the field and give you more protection for cards like Call by the Grave and cards like Cross-Set Designator, so it's just going to give you all those different counters to your opponent to make sure your plays go through. We then also play a single copy of Driver to go along with our copy of our Gamma to make sure that our plays are going to go through and we can counter cards like Maxi. So that's it for the monsters, guys. Let's get in to the spells. So for the spells, we're going to start with a single copy of Original Sinful Spoils. This card is really good to be able to play in the deck just as a 1-of for our target for Diabellstar. This card lets us send one other face-up card that you control to the graveyard to special summon a level 1 fire monster from our hand or deck, which is usually going to be Volcanic Shell that we're summoning off this card's effect. Then you can link away your copy of Volcanic Shell for a copy of Link Rebo. This card also lets you banish this card from the graveyard and then target a Snake Eye or Diabellstar monster in the graveyard, add a level 1 fire monster from your deck to your hand, then place the targeted monster on the bottom of the deck, letting you search out your copy of Karakuri or your copy of your Volcanic Shell, which is really cool to be able to do. This card is amazing in the deck as a 1-of and absolutely broken to be able to grab off your copy of Diabellstar. We then play a single copy of Wanted. Wanted's really good in the deck as a 1-of to be able to search out your copy of Diabellstar. Currently this card is at 1 in Master Duel, which is why we're just playing a single copy, but it helps us get to our copy of our Diabellstar, which is really good. We then play a single copy of Cross-Set Designator. Cross-Set Designator just stops all sorts of hand traps like your copies of Maxi or Ash Blossom that your opponent might be using against you. We then play 2 copies of Called by the Grave. Called by the Grave is also a 2-of in the deck, basically just to stop your opponent's hand traps. We have like 5 ways in this deck with our copy of Gamma and Gamma, or copy of Called by and Cross-Set Designator, just to make sure our copy of Imseti is going to go through so we can get to our copy of King Sarcophagus. We then play 3 copies of Walls of the Imperial Tomb. This card is really good as a 3-of in the deck because this card's name becomes King Sarcophagus while in the field spell zone, and during your main phase you can add a Horus monster from your deck to your hand, which you're usually searching Imseti off this card's effect, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of the deck, which is a really cool effect to be able to use. Also, if you activate the effect of Horus, the Black Flame Deity, you get to draw a card, which is a really cool effect. We then play 3 copies of King Sarcophagus. King Sarcophagus is basically the entire deck, and you want to get to this card as quickly as possible. But this card has the ability that Horus monsters that you control cannot be destroyed by card effects that do not target them. Also, you can send a card from your hand to the graveyard to send a Horus monster from your deck to the graveyard, which is a really cool effect, and actually why we play Volcanic Shell, to be able to pay cost for this card so that we can basically constantly have a card in our hand to send to the graveyard so we can get an additional Horus name into the grave. This card has the ability you can activate that effect up to 4 times per turn, which is absolutely broken, so we can send all 4 of our different Horus names from our deck to the graveyard, and also has the ability once per turn at the start of the damage step. If your Horus monster battles an opponent's monster, you can send an opponent's monster to the graveyard, just helping you out your opponent's cards. So that's it for the spells, guys. Let's get into the traps. So for the traps, we're just going to be playing 1, and that's going to be a single copy of Canatopic Protector. Canatopic Protector is really good as a 1-of in the deck. As once per chain, when your opponent activates a card effect, you can special summon a Horus monster from your hand or grave, but for the rest of the turn, you cannot special summon monsters with the same original name by the effect of Canatopic Protector. Also, if this card is sent from the hand or field to the graveyard, you can set this card but banish it when it leaves the field, meaning if you pay cost for your copy of King Sarcophagus and send this card to the graveyard from your hand, you can basically just set it back to your side of the field, essentially getting a free play off your copy of King's Sarcophagus, which is amazing. But I feel like one is all you need because anymore it bricks, so I feel like one is fine for this particular deck. So that's going to do it for the main deck, guys. Let's get into the extra deck. So for the extra deck, we're going to start with a single copy of the Zombie Vampire. This card is really good in the deck as a one-of because it lets us send the top 4 cards of both players' decks to the graveyard for a total of 8 cards milled to the grave. Then we can actually pick a card from the graveyard and special summon it back to our side of the field among those 8 cards that were sent to the graveyard, but it's really good to help us get additional cards into the grave like our Horus names. And then play a single copy of Dengirsu just to be able to spot and remove cards off the field. One copy of number 90 because it is a walking negate in this deck, which is really nice to be able to summon. One copy of Garunix Eternity. Garunix Eternity is just amazing to be able to summon. As if this card is XZ summon, you can destroy all other monsters on the field, which is such a powerful effect, and it doesn't target, which is really nice for our Horus cards. This card also lets us detach a material in this card to target a small trap on the field and destroy it, and if you do, this card gains 500 attack points, just basically being a walking MST and a dark hole. We then play a single copy of Sky Prison. Sky Prison is just a good option to be able to make in the deck overall, and just a great card for this particular build. Play a single copy of Dragubolon. Dragubolon is amazing to be able to summon another copy of either number 38, which is a great option because this card is basically a spell negate, or a copy of number 100 to be able to OTK the opponent for coming out for 9,000 attack points usually. Sometimes you can make 2 rank 8s on the field. You can make this card like 17,000, which is very easy to help you OTK. My single copy of Giant Trainer. Giant Trainer lets us draw 3 cards and do 800 points of damage to the opponent for every monster that we draw, but we can't attack that turn, but using this card first turn to help us draw 3 is just absolutely amazing. We then play a single copy of Zeus. Zeus is just really good to help us board wipe the field since we're playing so many different XZs. Play a single copy of Typhon. Typhon's also really good because it's good in any, basically any deck now, and finally we have this card in Master Duel. It's amazing. Play a single copy of Omega for our copy of Gamma and Driver to be able to step into this card to basically get rid of a card in our opponent's hand. One copy of Blackluster Soldier, Soldier of Chaos. When you summon this card out to your side of the field, it's very tough for your opponent to deal with it because we're always going to use a level 7 to make this card, and your opponent cannot target it with card effects, or it can be destroyed by your opponent's card effects either when you do use a level 7 as a material. Also, when this card destroys a monster in battle, it either gains 1500, can make a second attack during the following battle phase, or you non-targeting banish a card off the field, which is a really cool effect. We then play a single copy of SP Little Knight because this card is one of the best extra deck cards in the entire game. And then finally, since it is a Master Duel deck profile, we're also playing a single copy of Linkuriboh from when we do summon our level 1 fire monster off of original Sinful Spool Snake Eye, which is just really good, especially if we summon out our copy of Volcanic Shell. We can link it away for Linkuriboh to give us some targeting protection, or basically battle protection, and then we can use our Volcanic Shell to pay 500 life points to add another copy of itself from our deck to hand, so we can pay cost for a copy of King's Sarcophagus at least twice, which is really cool. So that's it for the deck, guys. I hope you enjoy it. This deck is super fun to be able to play. If you guys have never played a Horus Diabellstar deck, you should definitely give this deck a try because it's so fun to be able to play. It's very easy to control the board, especially with cards like Majesty's Fiend, and just a really fun deck overall, especially how powerful the Horus engine is. So that's going to do it for this one, guys. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell in there so you can become part of the notification squad, and we'll see you guys in the next video. See you later, guys.